Hi and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Cassia. On this channel we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. We are going to be doing the daily reading today for Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. And yes, today is the day that Mercury stations retrograde. And so we may be feeling that in the air a little bit, that shift as our mental processes slow down a little bit, as they begin going into a different level of consciousness, of processing, right? We're now working with the subconscious as opposed to our conscious minds. And we're doing this in the sign of Scorpio, which is an incredibly emotional, incredibly intuitive, incredibly passionate sign. This is the sign that's ruled by Pluto and Mars, right? And so it is incredibly intense energy. We're really digging into the shadow. We're digging into those deepest parts of our unconscious right now. And so, yes, the intensity of that is being felt. We may feel a little bit off kilter mentally today, emotionally today, as this change is taking effect. And we're essentially in this standstill, right? When any planet stations, it means that they appear to not be moving at all in the sky. And in the moment when they are sitting still, right, their energy is incredibly magnified and incredibly powerful. So we're really going to be feeling this energy. I'll say it, that's probably like the fifth time I've said it, but we will be feeling this energy acutely today. Today is a day that's ruled by the second chakra, and it's guided by vision. And the galactic signature of the day is blue self-existing storm. And the blue storm energy is all about, energy. It's about the energy of our minds, of our frequency, of our intentions, our words, our thoughts, our beliefs, and how that coalesces and how we can direct that to create our reality. It's also the energy that catalyzes change, right? We talked about this when we did the blue lunar storm, which is the galactic year that we're in right now, right? So it's this energy of catalyzing change. It's this energy of chaos, right, that brings order. And the trick when we're dealing with the blue storm energy is to find ourselves, to fall into the center of that storm, right? That calm center from which we can then direct the energy. Instead of being a victim to the energy, we own that energy and we utilize that energy and we move that energy in the direction that we see fit. And with the self-existing tone of the day, this is especially important. This is a tone of refinement, a tone of construction, right? When we are building something, when we talk about that firm foundation, that's what we're being asked to do today, is to look at the foundation that we are building, to ask ourselves the questions that need to be asked so that we can create structure and form, right, in our lives. There's a heavy creation energy, so much creative potential between this self-existing tone and this blue storm energy. We can be swept away in the storm today, or we can become the master of the storm. It depends on how we choose to focus that energy. And so meditations that take us deep into the center of ourselves are going to be really helpful today as we're navigating this energy. Any situations that come up, right? We want to really be able to define, like the key words for the self-existing tone are define, measure, and form. And so it's asking ourselves those questions: who, what, where, when, how, why, really defining every situation that comes our way, really defining when it comes to our emotions that are coming up, when it comes to our mental processes, really getting deep into that, digging into that to really get to the meat and the bones of the situation, and then to decide how we want. Once we have all the facts and we have all the information, we can then go on to formulate the plan. And we can be that catalyst that creates that change, that creates that plan today. And so the affirmation of the day is: I define in order to catalyze, measuring energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of vision. So incorporating that higher vision into everything that we do today as well. Once we've defined the parameters, right, we incorporate that higher vision, and then we move from that place of higher vision to catalyze the change that needs to happen, right? And so, yes, it is with Mercury stationing retrograde today. It's going to be and this blue storm energy. It's going to be an intense day, you guys. Mercury is sextile Venus right now. We talked about this in the Mercury retrograde video. So relationships, partnerships, all of that is going to be heavy on our minds. And Venus is in the sign of Virgo, right? And so we are going to be, today is a day with all this passionate Scorpio energy. We want to be really careful not to be overly hard on ourselves or other people. Right? We want to try to avoid that. The Venus and Virgo energy can be very critical, right? When it comes to the self, and that is reflected sometimes in the way that we treat others, right? We're very particular when it comes to our relationships and what we're expecting of people in our lives right now. And so we want to watch out for that, and we want to be careful not to get carried away, right? With this passionate Mercury and Scorpio energy that we have going on. Mercury is also opposing Uranus. And so there's Uranus, that planet of rebellion, that planet of freedom, but Uranus is challenging us to once again see from that higher perspective, to be guided by that vision today, right? Uranus being the higher octave of Mercury, and allowing us to really come up with some incredible solutions today, if we are willing and able to really rise beyond all of the churning, tumultuous emotions, right? And to see from that higher perspective, to really like take that eagle vision today and to run with that, right? The eagle soars high above everything and sees with extreme clarity, because he is detached and he sees the entire scope of a situation. And so we really want to strive for that today. All right, what do we want to do? Yeah. I'm wanting to do an Angels and Ancestors card for you guys to start this out. October 14th, 2020. We are 2 days away from that new moon, so check out the new moon video as well as the Mercury retrograde video if you haven't yet, to get more of a feel for what we have going on planetarily right now. There's a lot of really intense energy going on. We got some intense T-squares going on with the sun and the moon, Mars, Eris, Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn. It's an intense day. It's an intense week. It's really, I mean, if we're going to be honest about it, it's an intense month, right? This is the month of transformation. And transformation is not always easy, right? Transformation can be tumultuous, right? We are in that blue storm. I mean, we're in the blue storm, the blue lunar storm year, right? Okay, and so coming out for us, we have Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. That shouldn't be difficult to do today with all of that Scorpio energy in the air. Let's get these all laid out here. We have Lord, take charge with authority. Right? Be the catalyst. Hunter, track down your fears and desires. And this card has come up for us before. This card came up in, it may have been it was either the daily reading that I did before the new moon video, or it was the new moon video itself that came out. And then Oracle, wait for important information. And so this is an interesting, and then on the bottom of the deck here, we have Air Guardian, shift your perception. And so this is an interesting combination of cards that we have here. And we have these two horned gods in the middle, which is really interesting. So yeah, this, like, we don't want to disconnect from our emotions today. We want to acknowledge them. We don't want to try to sweep them under the rug, right? As Mercury is entering retrograde, this is, even though Mercury governs the mind and not the emotions, Scorpio is a very watery, emotional sign, right? And so we are, especially with this new moon energy, the moon is definitely emotional, right? It is feminine. And so there is a lot of this energy where there are just a lot of emotions coming up right now. And so the connecting with them doesn't mean becoming a victim to them, right? It means acknowledging them. It means sitting with them. It means loving them. It means allowing them to show us a barometer of what's going on for us, right? Our emotions are like a thermometer that take the temperature of our reality and feed back to us how that's resonating with us, how that's feeling to us. And so we do want to allow our emotions to guide us, but we don't want to be reactionary and act out of that emotional place. We want to observe them. We want to allow them, right? For those, this is like guidance for people who've been really attempting to suppress your emotions for a long time and not wanting to deal with the emotions that have been coming up. That's not going to be possible during this Mercury retrograde. It just simply is not. And so the sooner you allow yourself to acknowledge those emotions, the easier this is going to be. Don't let those keep building up. That is the mistake of Scorpio energy, is Scorpio can become like a pressure cooker when they keep suppressing and repressing those emotions, right? And burying those deeper and deeper inside, and the pressure of that builds until it explodes. And so we don't want that today. We want to allow our emotions to give our emotions the space and to honor them, and that way we're able to utilize them constructively. And this is just also asking people to soften a little bit, to soften out those rough edges a little bit. Then we have the Lord, take charge with authority. So this is that energy of us taking charge of our own lives. This is also, I'm feeling with this combination, I'm feeling this energy of not being a victim. Like, that's another thing that we're learning, right? Especially as we close out this age of Pisces and move into the age of Aquarius, is this understanding that we are never a victim of any situation, right? Everything was chosen by our soul for our growth and our evolution, right? There is no such thing as victimhood. We are all co-creators of our lives. And so really taking ownership of that, taking charge of that, taking charge of our own energy, right? Taking responsibility for our own lives. I'm feeling that coming through very strongly, very, very strongly. And then it's this constant shadow work, right? With the track down your fears and desires, really digging into, and this feeds right into the Mercury retrograde again as well, right? Digging deep into those fears, looking those fears in the face, using the questions like we talked about with the self-existing tone of the day. Who, what, where, when, why, how? What is it that I'm afraid of? Why does that scare me? Why does that scare me? What do I think will happen? And then what do I think will happen? And then what? And like, keep asking yourself those questions until you can identify what those fears are and really look at those fears for what they are, right? Because they feel so much more magnified when they're buried deep inside, and when we don't give them voice and we don't give them a name, and they're just able to lurk in the background. And some of the things that we're most afraid of are the things that we deeply desire the most. And so as we understand our fears more, it leads us to be able to understand our desires more as well. And then the Oracle, wait for important information. There may be information for some people that is necessary in order for you to move forward in a certain area of your life. And so if that is the case, just understand that that information will come in the time that it's meant to come. If you're in a place right now where you're not sure what to do, then today is a day to just not do anything. Just not do anything until you have all the information, until you are able to, right, with that self-existing tone. We want all that information before we can move forward. We need that in order to create, right? In order to structure, in order to create a structure that is supportive of what it is that we are wanting and what it is we are desiring to create. So if you are waiting for that, wait for that, wait for that information and know that it is going to come. And for some of you guys, some of this important information that you need when it comes to your own inner transformation process is going to be found if you dig into this practice of really uncovering and deciphering your fears, and also allowing yourselves to connect with your emotions. And yeah, from that process comes a shift in perception that helps you to move forward. Yes. Ooh, I've never seen this card before. Underneath that we have Spirit Fox. Trust your talents in changing times. So I like that. That's really beautiful as well. I feel like there may be, I mean, this is a time for a lot of us with all of these crazy energies going on where we are possibly questioning ourselves a bit, really wondering where it is that we fit into the world, right? Whether what we have to share really truly does have value. And so this is just confirmation for those of us who are going through that struggle right now that it absolutely does. We absolutely do. And everything we have, like, as things the times shift and change, we will shift and change along with them. But what we have to share is actually going to be more important as the times continue to change than it ever was before, right? Anybody who is watching this channel, you are part of this awakening process. You are part of this collective awakening. This moving into the age of Aquarius, this new earth, this new dawn, this new creation that we are birthing, right? You are a very important key part of that process. So don't allow your mind to trick you. Don't allow your emotions to trick you. Don't allow your fears to trick you into thinking that you are not. And what you have to share is not important, because it is now even more important than ever. Yeah. Okay. And now I'm wanting to pull a couple of these, and these are the Psychic Tarot. Or this is, I suppose I should say, the Psychic Tarot. And so we'll get a couple cards from the Psychic Tarot for today, for the energies of today. Yeah. So taking charge with authority and waiting for important information is an interesting pairing, right? It's like we can, even more than anything else, we're being asked to take charge with authority when it comes to our own personal growth, when it comes to our own emotional state, when it comes to that inner work that we're being called to do on ourselves, asking ourselves those hard questions, right? Really taking charge of and moving out of that victim state into this state where we understand that we are incredibly powerful, right? And that shift in perspective may be what is required for this important information to be revealed as well. All right, so we have 8, emotional withdrawal. This may be an energy. This may be something that we are feeling today, right? This would be like the 8 of Cups, I believe. But it's just in this card, it's like he's pulling away, right? Today may be a day where we need to disconnect a little bit. There's so much intense internal work going on, so much emotional turmoil that we are possibly experiencing, right? And so we may need to kind of pull back into our shells a little bit and just allow ourselves that time to replenish and rejuvenate and to do any of this inner work that's calling to be done right now. And then we have the waiting game. So this is, again, that patiently waiting energy, right? Wait for important information. There's a lot about waiting. So there's maybe something that needs to happen, a change that needs to happen, a decision that needs to be made, but it's not something that needs to be rushed. It's something that will, like, the decision will become clear. It's just going to take the time that it's going to take. And so someone is being advised to sort of pull back their energy and wait for things to become more clear. And so there may be some of this discontent and boredom. There may be some of this energy involved. You may feel like you have been waiting for a while and you're kind of tired of waiting. And so this is like, just continue to be patient. There's a lot of patience being called for. There's still aspects that are at play right now that need to work themselves out. Like are still things being ready to be revealed. And so even if you are feeling kind of bored and discontent and like you really just want to push forward, it's like, start with the inner work first. All the stuff that we just talked about, start there. If you're bored, do more of that while you're waiting, right? There's no reason for us to ever be bored, basically, because there's always more work to be done. And so we had the Fool come out reversed, new beginnings, with 6 memories of love. And so I don't typically always read reversals, but the way they fell out like that, I kind of feel like I need to. So it kind of feels like somebody is also possibly stuck in the past, really thinking about the past, about somebody from the past, and wanting some type of new beginning that's just not happening yet. And so this, for some of you, this energy that I was just reading into, right, with the withdrawing, pulling back, this waiting game, being in this sort of impatient kind of energy, is relating to this new beginning that's not ready to start yet, and being kind of frustrated with that. And we have heartache and loss on the bottom of the deck, with the throat chakra underneath it. And these are both upside down the way the deck is sitting right now too, which is really interesting. So some healing going on around that. This may be a situation that involved some heartbreak, some loss, and is in a place of kind of like stuck communication. Communication's really not coming through. And so that may be what some of the frustration is about too, is this lack of communication. But there's still important information that's waiting to be revealed. I feel like it's not the time yet for whatever reason. And then we have coming out authority, balance, and base chakra, which would be the Emperor, and this would be Temperance, I believe. The Emperor, Temperance. And so this is like that firm foundation that we've been talking about, that's really being required to be built. It's like coming into this energy of inner authority and inner balance, and really balancing that root chakra, that sense of security, that sense of trust, right? That sense of, the base chakra is all of our most primal emotions and feelings, right? It's our base needs. So really needing a balance of those energies. And this is what's required, and this is what's possibly taking some patience, is the necessity of that. I'm being drawn to all the circles here, which is really interesting. Yeah. Something needs to make a complete circle. Something has to come to completion. To come to completion here is also what I'm feeling. This is a process that has been undertaken, but it hasn't been completed yet. Somebody may want to work with their base chakra, work with their root chakra, in order to possibly clear some of those energies. This is where we store a lot of our ancestral energies, as well as is in the base chakra, and really come to balance out their energies. They're working on balancing their energies. This is like masculine and feminine. This is all of the different aspects of the self, the different aspects of being. They're balancing the emotions, the mental space, right? The physical reality, the spiritual aspect. Those all coming into harmony and balance is what's really required here. Yeah. This card right now is reminding me of Ascension, right? Because it's like it's an angel, and you can see him kind of like rising up. And so this working through this next level of the ascension, this next aspect of that brings you firmly into your authority and your power, where you're operating from a firm base, a firm foundation. Any last cards here? And then we have 9, which would be like the Hermit card, which is more of that solitude, right? And then 2, which is spiritual union in this deck. So, I mean, that bodes well. But it's going to take, there's another period of solitude that has to happen first. Another period of introspection, right? Of sort of pulling back and reevaluating and going within. There's like another spiritual upgrade or up level that has to happen first. And then that brings in this energy. Okay, so there's a little mini read for someone at the end there. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys navigate this day as best you can. You know, it's going to be an intense one, but we got this. You know, we take advantage of these energies. We go within, we dive right into that discomfort, right? And see what lies underneath that, right? See what can be revealed as we move into that next level, that next circuit of that spiral of healing, right? If you enjoyed this video, drop a comment. Let me know how your day is going. There are links below to donate to my channel, which is very much appreciated. There are also, my email is down below with a description of my services. I offer personal readings. I offer really beautiful energy healings, which can be so beneficial. A bunch of different things. So check those out below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Share, subscribe if you haven't yet. All of that stuff helps greatly. I love you. I appreciate you. Have an amazing day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.